my friend. Hey. See, you thought only lawyers. Am I going to use this one? You thought only lawyers, lobbyists, and legislators were in Washington, D.C. You have friends there, too. We were making sure that God's light shines. And Nancy's there, and Edie's there, and many, many others. I was surprised that I was coming up so rapidly because I think we were told that we were going to have some type of drawing before I came up to get everybody back in the room, so I guess we'll have it later. Either that or I get the gift, whatever that might be. But in thinking about Nancy saying that I have all of these numerous awards, I actually do. People give me all types of just, you know, their acknowledgement that just a little bright light to let me know that I'm being thought about and cared about amidst some of the battles that I'm in. Just recently, after speaking at Value Voters, 1,500 words, I say 20 words that a whole segment of our society didn't like, and we're being bombarded now with all types of threats and intimidations, and it's become very, very difficult these last few weeks to even go outside without looking over my shoulder. But I'm telling you all that just to say that the challenge with all of these wonderful awards is that I live in two different places, so I have no place to put them. I don't know whether to leave them in California or leave them in Washington, D.C., so what's beginning to happen is I have boxes just kind of stacking up and saying, one day these are going to go here, and I'm thinking about maybe just putting them all in California so that when I go home, I can just kind of marvel in those things that God has done in others' lives, and then that they express that appreciation to me. I was sharing my testimony last night, so for those of you that didn't get opportunity to hear, perhaps you'll have to get the tape if you wanted to hear, if that's one of the reasons you came, because I came with a specific body of encouragement, and I wrote it down as other speakers did so that we can stay within our time frame. And I named my presentation this morning From Faith to Destiny for a reason, because even though I'm talking about individuals' fate, and I have to talk to those that are caught up in our hard places in our society today on a regular basis, because they just don't understand how to get out of that little hole that some of them dug for themselves, and others they did it themselves. And then others, by no fault of their own, end up in those hard places. I have to let them know that that set of circumstances that they were born into does not have to be their destiny, because God has given each and every one of us purpose. And in fact, if you look at Ecclesiastic, he lists 28 purposes that all in our lives, a time for 28 different things that we may go through to then fulfill that great destiny. But the challenge in front of us today is America, and Americanism is under attack, because what we have in this brilliant country is an opportunity to take a fate and turn it into great destiny. America is a great country in that it was founded on a unique model of converging an individual's personal fate with legal protections of the Judeo-Christian rule of law, of assurance for a limited government, and you'll hear later about the Second Amendment being part of that assurance of a limited government, and with the legal protections of a free market and free market capitalism, so that they can create an environment for American individuals to pursue their great destinies, and whatever that personal destiny may be. Well, God tells us in Deuteronomy 30, look, I have set before you today life and good, death and evil. If you obey the commandments of the Lord your God that I command you today, by loving the Lord your God, by walking in his ways, and by keeping his commandments and his statutes and his rules, then you will live and multiply. And the Lord your God will bless you in the land that you're entering to take possession of it. Some entered, as we heard, some fought for, some were dragged here, and some, just because God had a special place in his heart, decided that he wanted us to be birthed here. But he said that if your heart turns away and you will not hear, but are drawn away to worship other gods and serve them, I will declare to you this day that you shall surely perish. Then in verse 19 he said, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that you and your offspring may live. Interestingly, amidst the founding of our great country, mankind still has set before us the ability to choose. And some men choose evil. Some mankind just decide that they want to choose evil. And in that evil, even in a great country like ours, that evil can affect other people's ability to pursue great and godly destinies. So now again, this time under our watch, America is divided from God's vision for mankind. Similar to the 1850s, to where our great country was tremendously divided. That Abraham Lincoln had to open the scripture and read the words that Matthew penned from the mouth of Jesus Christ. That a house divided against itself can't stand. And when he closed that book, he said, we are a divided nation, and we can't go on like this. We cannot be half free and half slave. We're going to have to choose. And unfortunately, 600,000 dead later, America chose, through God's providential hand, to be the nation that he intended us to be. A nation that was free for all men to express their creative interest, for all men to express that creative interest of freedom, free will, and the opportunity to pursue what he intended, which was life, liberty, and ability to reach our destinies. But again, we're divided, this time under our watch. We can't go on like this anymore, half free and half slave. And we are in an aggressive cultural war for the very heart and soul of our God-ordained country. In a quest for power, enemies of God started 3 wars against American culture some 50 years ago, which have resulted in a great debate and the stagnated growth that we are experiencing today. In order to gain this power, they build what they're doing. Some want to know, what is it? And there are many things that are occurring in our society today where people are penning, as you see from the booths out here, different interests and opinions and thought and deep research about what has gone on and what's taken place. Many have penned many other